Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, April 10th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker number one, SOXL, monster movement today. And unless you live under a rock, you know today was quite the monstrous day as soon as that tariff news came out. But regardless, got to get some updates here made on all of these. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those lines down there as they're no longer relevant given the big move here. And at this point, we're looking at a nice solid bull pennant pattern. So let me show you where this bull pennant is coming from. And maybe I'm getting a little spicy here. Oops, and how I draw the bottom part of this. Let's see, there we go. And then make that green for support. So there's a bottom part of the pattern. And then across the top, we have this area from way back here. There we go. And now to make this a little bit easier to see, because I realize my chart lines are kind of coming from all over the place. But as far as the pennant is concerned, we have our area of resistance. We have our area of support. We have the explosive move right there. And then put in the golf hole down here for you golfers, make it a little bit more visual. This would be the bull pennant pattern. Now, let me be very clear. Just because something's bullish does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is moving upwards or anything like that. But is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if a price putzes around here and then makes them break to the upside, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible scenario. If the price does get a high volume break out of the pattern, next key area you'd want to watch from a resistance standpoint is up there at that pink line right there, which on my chart denotes a very well-known, the very famous 200 period moving average. But anyway, look at it. Great movement today. Nice bull pennant pattern. Let's see if the price can get more continuation. Next one here, TSLL, ETF that measures and allows you to trade Tesla in just more of a leveraged way. So like the SOXL we just looked at, these levels down there would delete out of there, no longer relevant. And we have ourselves another very interesting dynamic here, mainly in regards to that pink line, which I just talked about, that 200 period moving average. And the dynamic here being, to be fair, yes, the price has pushed up above that area. But now the question going forward, and this is a very, very important level. You can see at that point, that level just smacked the price right back down. So the fact that the price is up above there, definitely a good step in the upwards direction. No guarantees. But now it becomes a very valid question to throw out there. Okay, it's gotten the break up through. Is there going to be even more momentum to come? As I've said, I'll probably say a dozen more times. No guarantees, but it's definitely a plausible scenario given the nature of this breakout. Now, the one thing that I'm not a huge fan of, and again, this doesn't mean that it's make or break, but you look down here at the volume, and while the price has been pushing up through this area, volume has actually been decreasing. Again, that doesn't mean for sure guaranteed it's going to be a faulty breakout, but it's just something that caught my eye, and I would say to at least factor somewhat into your decision-making process. If this move continues up, next key battleground to watch very closely is going to be that area of resistance up there around $10.40. So keep a close eye on that. But all in all, big, solid move, and we'll see if the momentum carries into Thursday. Next one here, PHIO, and very nice little pattern here that I like, and the pattern based off the fact of that things started off pretty rough. I mean, price gapped up, ran all the way up here, and then after that, price started to come down and come down and come down. And, when it gets down around here, it becomes a very valid question to say, was this just a pump and dump? Was this just some sort of gap and trap? Is it game over? And as of right now, seemingly no, because the price has not only leveled out, but it's actually got a slight little upwards move to it right there. So does that mean for sure guaranteed this pullback is over and for sure guaranteed it's going to head back upwards? No guarantees, but it becomes a whole lot more valid. Case in point, if the price was still doing this and then I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like this could be the bottom, you'd be totally justified to say, wait, based on what? The price literally just dropping straight down. But that's not the case here. It has leveled out. It has started to trend back upwards, and that's always a good thing, and that's a step in the right direction. And then in terms of areas of resistance, key level to watch right there is going to be that resistance line right there. So we essentially have this little wedge formation. So moving forward, just a question of who's ultimately going to win out in this battle, because this wedge is running out of room. But would it be shocking if the price broke and gained some momentum? Not shocking, but not guaranteed. So if you like these sets of circumstances, you like this price range, keep an eye on it. Next one here, AEHL, and same general idea, although this I don't think was as nasty as the pullback as the other one. But in this situation, We do have a pullback. There's no doubt about that. So we have this pullback underway, but at the same time, there was the bottom part of this pattern, which is just, again, illustrating that there is a pullback underway. So let me change that to green. But this is where the bigger picture comes into play. Meaning, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within 12 minutes, yes, from that standpoint, things are looking rough because there's no doubt about it. The price did pull back. But if you care about the bigger picture point of view, part of that is acknowledging, well, sure, the price pulled back. But what was going on before this pullback happened? And that's where things get interesting because, yes, we do have the pullback. So there's the resistance part of it. There's the support part of it. But the question, what was happening beforehand? Well, the price was down here and it exploded all the way up there, which is now giving you an overall bull flag pattern. So again, I understand if you're a day trader or scalper and you bought right there, then yeah, you don't care about this bull flag pattern. But if you are somebody that's looking at things from more of the bigger picture, then certainly a nice little pattern here. And we'll see if it can get more momentum and continuation back upwards tomorrow. Next one, NVDA, and very, very impressive move. Not necessarily just because it was green, but because of all the resistance levels it was able to fight through today. The first one being that pink, or excuse me, if I knew my colors, the purple line right there, the 50-period moving average. And then the big golden goose one was that 200-period right there. Not only has it broken through it, it's starting to get more let's try that again. Starting to get more separation in the upwards direction. So in other words, anyway, look at it, very, very good from NVIDIA, volume-wise, price-wise, and then just technically the amount of resistances it broke through. So things are looking good. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level as it served its purpose for now. And I do want to get this into play because I'm curious now, not that it's going to come into play on Thursday, but just over the next several days, let's see if this trend line comes into play. And this is a very important trend line because as long as the price stays above that trend line, then by definition, the price is making progress upwards. No price, unfortunately, can go straight up. There's pullbacks along the way, but as long as pullbacks build higher bases, that's what matters. And that's what this trend line is going to help us with, building those higher bases. In terms of next potential battlegrounds, we have to go back quite a bit of ways into the chart's history here. But next key battleground to watch now moving forward would be right up here around the $119 mark. And it's kind of in blue sky breakout territory right now. Doesn't mean that's going to shoot straight up to 119. But personally, I wouldn't be shocked if this thing continues to grind up around that area. But anyway, look at it. Very nice day here for NVIDIA. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description area you can use to sign up. Or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the webpage that you can use to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, taking a look at Vero, and nice pattern here. So let's get this drawn into play. So we have the resistance part of the pattern right there. We have the support portion right there. And then just I can't help myself, let's keep this all one color. So we have our area of resistance, our area of support, the big upwards move right here. I extend this out, just make it look a little bit more visual. There we go. And then put the golf hole down here, and we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. I'm going through this a little quicker because you've already heard me talk about this pattern, and I want to respect your time as much as possible. So nice movement here, and we'll see now if moving forward, if the price can work its way and then get a break to the upside. And does that break create more upside buying pressure? We'll see. But if you like bull pennants, here you go. Next one here, MSTU, and yes, a very, very solid day. Now, this one isn't as good as the other ones, and the other ones, think back to how a lot of them were behaving with that pink line, their 200-period moving average, and this one still quite a bit a ways below it. Now, on the good news front, it did break above the 50-period moving average, so that's good, but not quite as powerful of a day as some of these other tickers we were looking at, again, just based off of how they were in relation to that pink line there. But hey, just because it's below it doesn't mean it can't get above it. But I would say this one, is a little weaker than some of the other ones, but don't get me wrong, still a very, very powerful day nonetheless. So moving forward in terms of levels, so in fact, I'm going to just get rid of that level. That's an old area. But in terms of current levels of support, the ideal level that you definitely want to see hold now moving forward is going to be that purple line there, 50-period moving average. Because if the price were to come down here and just chop anywhere above that area, all that's doing for you from a bullish standpoint is basically giving you some sort of bull pennant pattern. Could be a bull pennant, could be a bull flag, but it's going to be some sort of, one of those situations. But again, the criteria for that is the price has got to be able to hold and stay up above the purple line right there, 50 period moving average. So as long as the price stays above that purple line, then are you looking at a bull flag? Are you looking at a bull pennant? You don't want to get down in the weeds there in terms of semantics, but it's overall a good situation because it's implying that the price is building a higher base. And then, yeah, from the resistance side of things, if the price can push up through this area here, the next key battleground, so if you get that breakout, then all eyes need to go to that level, currently valued at about $5.95, and watch that very, very closely. But all in all, not quite as good as the other tickers we looked at, but still a good day nonetheless. Next one here, SUNE, just an absolute train wreck, and the train wreck continues. But I will say from a trading standpoint, a little interesting now. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level because the price has started after getting a really, really rough morning where not only did the price gap down, but then it just kept bleeding. But after that, it's got a slightward slope in the upwards direction. Now, as I've already mentioned, just because the price has started to go slightly in the upwards direction doesn't guarantee that this is the bottom, but it becomes a little bit more plausible to throw out there. And I understand some of you have zero interest in trading stocks that are penny stocks, let alone down below 5 cents, but I've had enough requests on it and people asking where I know there is interest out there on it. So from a trading standpoint, like I said, that is an area of support. And then in terms of the areas of resistance, we have that right there. So we do have in a wedge formation. So it's really just a question of, is this wedge a leading indicator that the sellers are finally done and that this thing is getting ready to break upwards? Of course, not guaranteed to happen, but there's a thought process there that does make sense. Now, if you're someone that cares about more so the bigger picture, or you're an investor or whatever, if this thing comes on here and breaks the downside, well, that is just more bleeding to come. And at that point, is this thing headed down below a penny a share? We'll have to see what happens. But as of right now, strictly from a trading standpoint, it is an interesting scenario. You have the wedge. It's gone sideways after an absolute beat down. So is this some sort of bottom forming? Is there some sort of dead cat bounce that may show up? We'll see what happens. Next one here, PLTR. And like NVDA and a lot of these other ones, very, very good day. Yes, because it was huge volume. Yes, because the price went up. But mainly because the price was finally able to get back above that level, which you can see here is what rejected it last time. But back above the 200 period moving average. And like NVIDIA, this one got more separation from it. So good to see how that all played out right there. And now it's just a question of, can the price continue to make progress? Preferably speaking, you now want to see the price stay up above that pink line there, 200 period moving average, currently valued at 86.15. So keep an eye on that dynamic. And then in terms of areas of resistance, and if this is going to continue up, then the next key battle, in fact, or is that where it's got rejected at right now? Let's see. Right at that area. Yeah, pretty close. $93.80, but if 93.80 can be broken, the next key overarching level right up there around 97.30. But anyway, look at it. Great movement today. Beautiful breakout above that area. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as the price can maintain above that pink line moving forward, that makes the chart look about as attractive as possible. Next one, TSLA Tesla. And like a lot of these other ones, fantastic movement. And this one not only was able to get up above the pink line, but as we just looked at, got more separation from it. So that in of itself, very, very solid momentum and good sign of strength. So we'll go ahead and get rid of those lines down there. In terms of next potential battlegrounds, first key level to watch very closely. Actually, we're right where the price is doing some battle right now. Right here at the 273 mark. Going back, you can see this area here had quite the track record of pushing the price down. That's not to say that this is guaranteed for sure to push the price back downwards. I'm just saying it makes sense why the price is currently kind of struggling right around that area. If the price can push up through that area, the next key battleground after that, right up there around, let's see, where's that, about 284.65. And then as it was with NVIDIA, or excuse me, with PLTR, what would make this chart look the absolute strongest going forward? Definitely if the price can stay above that pink line there. But from the overarching standpoint, that purple line here, the 50 period moving average, keyword being moving. So as it starts to move back higher and higher, if you envision that as a trend line that's going to draw itself for you, then as long as price is above that purple line, is above the trend line, then overall that implies that the current trend is in the bullish direction. But certainly a very solid day here for Tesla. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, then definitely get signed up for the free class. It'll be very soon, Thursday, April 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. And as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please hit that like button. And if you're looking for a very free and easy way to help support the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, as it really does help out. So thanks for watching. Take care and make sure you get signed up for the free class.